Hey drummers, hope you're well. Shout out to superstar channel member Jim, who was asking about this today and playing with this today. And lots of people ask this same thing on this channel. People say, can you give us some funky hi-hat grooves? I never really know exactly what people mean because it could mean all sorts of stuff. But the way I often interpret that question is I'm thinking about building up your grooves when we start playing the drums. And Jim has been playing for, I think, like not quite a year. He's been playing for a few months. When we start playing grooves, we play our straight eights, rock or pop feel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's great. And then if we do like grade 1, grade 2 type of stuff, we start changing up the bass drum and the snare drum like in sync with that eighth note flow on the hi-hat. So you get and so on. So again, all the variations on the kick and the snare are in sync with that like grid of eighth notes on the hi-hat. But then at grade 3, grade 4, things get a bit funky. You get the 2 quick kicks on the bass drum. You get skip notes on the snare that go like in between the hi-hat flow. Things like and that's a ton of fun. And of course, I've got hundreds of videos about that sort of stuff on this channel. Now, this is about just starting to spice up the hi-hat. Now, the way I like to think about this is little moments, little bits of vocabulary, little units of vocabulary. Again, when you start your grade 1, your grade 2, you learn about like quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. You learn about eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you learn about 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then at grade 1 you typically deal with a couple of combinations of 16ths and 8ths, semiquavers and eighth notes. So the rhythm 1 E and is one of those, as in 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and there are some others as well, like 1 and a 2 and a, but we'll stick with 1 E and today. So we're going to borrow that little bit of vocabulary, 1 E and, all played with the same stick. We're going to keep one hand on the hi-hat here, and we're going to start to throw that in. 1 E and. In fact, we're going to put it at the end of the bar. 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Let's open up that hi-hat right at the end on the and. Now we're getting a bit funky. Let's do the same thing on 2 E and now. So 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. Have a play around with it. And people normally ask about technique at this point. People say, are you using some kind of technique? Well, yeah, I'd like to think so, yeah. So what we're doing here is thinking about how we can use the bounce of the stick quite often, and particularly, I think, using our fingers at the back of our grip. If we have a little look here, 1 E and. Let's do 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and, 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and. Let me come over here. 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and, 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and, 1, 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and. So the way I like to think of this is on the first note of the 3, if I think of 3 quick notes here, 1 E and, it's for me primarily propelled by your wrist. Then after that, it's a bit like when you play a double stroke, like a controlled rebound double stroke. You're going to let the stick bounce up using your fulcrum here between your index finger and thumb at the front of the grip like a hinge. The stick's going to bounce up, and the other 2 notes are largely played by your fingers at the back of your grip activating. 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and, 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and. People always ask about different the grips, so to speak, the French grip, Germanic grip, American grip. I never think of them as grips really. They're just different rotations of your hand, aren't they? Different positions of your hand. Germanic being on top, back of the hand on top for Germanic, French being the thumb on top, American being somewhere between the two. This works in all the positions. Play around with it, experiment, see which one works for you. I quite like a bit of thumb on top when I'm on the hi-hat. 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and, 1 and 2 E and, 3 and 4 E and. It's all about just getting comfortable with that. As ever, I think people get confused about this all the time. It's just something I'm prepared to say over and over again until I'm blue on the face. Like repetitions are the most important variable here by a million miles. You can watch all the YouTube videos you like, but you've got to go pick up a drumstick and a practice pad or go to a hi-hat and actually do it till your hand falls off. Make no mistake, there is nowhere way around there. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. Let's take it back to the hi-hat. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. That's the place to start. On the channel members page just now, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put 3 more grooves. If you're just getting started with this sort of vocabulary, just moving beyond like basic straight 8s on a hi-hat or even straight 16ths on a hi-hat, just wanting to spice it up a little bit, I'll put for you 3 new grooves, notation and practice along for you to have a little play around with if you're at that sort of point of just getting these going. Thanks for watching as always. Shout out to Jim. This also relates a little bit to tomorrow's video. Stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about Midnight at the Oasis, the brand new Heavies version. Shout out to superstar channel member Steve who requested that, and that will be coming up tomorrow. It's got this sort of deal going on in it, so have a little bit of fun with this and that'll get you ready for that. Thanks for watching as always. See you soon. Cheers.